So, Todd, I've got this great opportunity that just came up after I had a discussion with a local brokerage, the biggest brokerage in my market. They want me to shoot all of their realtors' photos, and it's definitely going to be keeping me busy throughout the whole year.
That is exciting. Now, did they talk about any exclusivity during your conversation?
Well, yeah, they did, but I mean, it's a lot of potential volume.
Well, let's dig a little deeper into that, Craig.
Welcome to the Spiro Podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. With your hosts, Todd Kivimaki and Craig Magrum.
Welcome to the Spiro Podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. Spiro is a real estate media software platform designed to really manage and grow your real estate media business, handling everything from custom online portals for your realtors to order from through delivery, custom delivery pages of the media that you provide your customers to more custom content in marketing material that Spiro can provide for you. The whole idea is to manage your business from start to finish and allow you to take a breath and enjoy doing what you do most. I'm Craig Magrum, business development and client care specialist for Spiro and host of the Spiro Podcast. And along with me, as always, Spiro founder and owner and co-host of the Spiro Podcast, Todd Kivimaki.
Hey, Craig, how are you today? It's good to be on here.
Yeah, I'm doing great. We got an exciting topic, but before we dive into that, I'll let you welcome our listeners.
Yeah, just the message that everybody gives. Subscribers, if you are out there and this is your first time, welcome. It's good to have you here. Our goal is to bring value to you for your real estate photo and video business. If you're coming back a second or third time, thank you so much for joining us. If you could hit that subscribe button, you will be first to be notified about new podcasts and new exciting topics, and it will help us out in the same time. So if you could hit that subscribe button, we would appreciate it. If you have a question or a topic suggestion, we would love to talk about it. This can be your podcast. Please send any questions you have to hello@spiro.media. And let us know what you want to know. We'll do our best to find out or bring on an expert who might know the answer.
Okay, Todd. So this situation that we talked about in the opener to the podcast actually did happen to me. You and I, if you remember, we had a conversation quite a few years ago that this local brokerage in my market liked what I was doing, and they liked it so much they wanted me to shoot for them exclusively. And it was tempting because they were a aggressively growing brokerage, very cutting edge with media and technology. And I had the favor of their marketing department and even the ownership, at the time. And it was a really tempting offer. But I knew in the back of my mind that there was some downside to this as well.
Yeah. So for our listeners, Craig, what did they want? Just so we can define that. So the exclusivity. So one, congrats. And I know I said this, but it was great that they do want this. So one, you've proven that you have a great product service and a great system to deliver and to manage their agents. So it's great that you had that taken care of. And I know you had been seen and were shooting for many of their top agents, and your following was growing, correct, at this company?
Yeah. And so what they were really looking for was, like I said, an exclusive agreement where they would promote me to all of their agents. I'd have access, to all of their various office meetings because they had several offices in the market. But in exchange, I wouldn't shoot for any other brokerage. So I knew, I'd have access to the top brokerage and be the one photographer they'd really push, but that could potentially limit me in other ways.
Yeah, it definitely could. So an exclusivity clause they were asking for. And again, if you're out there in this situation, you should have the contract reviewed by your attorney to tell you what that contract says. I know in Craig's case, they wanted to limit him only to that brokerage. So no other realtors in town. And I know they put a pretty big distance radius on it. A lot of times they'll say you cannot shoot for any other real estate agents within 60, 100 miles of this city. So that would that would effectively turn off your ability to sell to any other real estate agents. Now, Craig, in your case, they wanted to help you grow, and they were going to kind of give you, for the lack of a better term, the keys to the city. I know they were painting this as they were going to get you into the meetings, and they were going to get you into their marketing department, and all these things. But were they going to, I know they were going to help you, but were they going to actually guarantee you anything?
Yeah, great question. And the answer is no. And they couldn't, because ultimately the decision to hire a photographer or videographer rests with the individual realtors. So yeah, they knew they couldn't guarantee that volume. So that's something you and I talked about. And you made a great suggestion to me in negotiating this potential deal in the item of asking for a retainer fee.
Yes, and basically that retainer fee was kind of your safety net, right, Craig?
Yeah. So, and not having that guarantee of volume, yeah, how am I going to take care of myself financially? My family and I. So the idea of the retainer fee, which I hadn't thought about, or young business person, maybe not young age wise, but young in business. I hadn't thought of that retainer fee idea, but that would basically guarantee me at least a minimum salary for giving them that exclusive right to my shooting style and editing and whatnot.
Yeah. And I know another thing that was going through your brain, and potentially if you're a listener out there, is probably going through your brain is you've taken this leap of faith and you have your business, and that's exciting. That is a tough thing to do. You are a business owner. Congratulations. And I think I remember the fact that this almost puts you back into an employee, but a business owner. Can you speak to that, how you felt? Because I know they were going to say, well, you can't sell to anyone else. And even if you had a retainer, which I don't believe they did in your case, they were really just locking you into being an employee with no guarantee.
Right. And not even necessarily an employee. It was still going to be a 1099 situation where I was a contractor. So yeah, even with the possibility of that retainer, I was excited to be a new business owner. I knew there was a lot of opportunity with other brokerages. I mean, they weren't the only game in town. There was other very competitive brokerages. And yeah, when I actually stopped and thought about it, I'm like, no, I don't want to limit my opportunities and the chance to really grow this beyond what I could think or imagine. So yeah, I mean, for some people, it might be a great situation. It provides you some security and peace of mind that, yeah, you've got the backing of this brokerage and they're willing to pay you, at least a minimum retainer to help you cover bills. And for some people, that's going to be a good situation. If it's something you're only doing part-time, or it's a side gig for you, that might be the right situation for you. But for those of us that want to take our businesses full time and grow and grow our income, probably not the best arrangement for you and your business.
Yeah, I know some math that we did, Craig, and just to give maybe a path forward if you're listening out there and you're in this situation, just some simple math. I a lot of times go back to math because the numbers don't lie, and I think they're very powerful. So I know some numbers and some math that we did in your situation is we looked at what your current business was and what the breakdown was of your current business. So how much of your current business was this brokerage? How much of your current business was other brokerages? So immediately, if you take this exclusive clause, you're going to give away all of that other income that you've worked hard to build. Now, I don't say that because it should be your only factor in deciding yes or no about being exclusive, but that is a number that you should know. Here's the other brokerages. Here's the amount of revenue they've done with me in the last year, or pick a time period, and I always correlate it out to a year. And that they would be asking me to turn down and say no to. Also, there's another figure that we looked at how much potential growth could you see? Now, they weren't wanting to guarantee any income, but how much potential growth could you see? Now, this one's a little bit more difficult. Now, the owner or the broker will paint this to be a very large picture, but I think it's good to be realistic about They might tell you our brokerage did 4,000 listings last year. I can tell you that you're not going to shoot all 4,000 of them. Craig gave a good point that remember, all of these real estate agents are 1099 subcontractors. So the company, the real estate brokerage, is not forcing them to use any one provider. They have the complete choice. There is one caveat, is if the broker pays for it. And I can tie that in later to an agreement we have. But if the broker pays for it, then the agents will use it because effectively the broker's paid for it. But if the agents are paying for it, and that's the way it was in your case, Craig, if the agents are paying for it, then there's no guarantee that they have to use you. So you should be looking at how much business you could potentially do with the brokerage and what's realistic to think you could grow to in 1 year, in 2 years, because you should be, if the broker's pushing your services and advertising your services, you'll see that number grow year over year. We see it here at Wow. And it'll be work. It'll be work that you need to build those relationships, but it's always easier to build those relationships when you have the broker saying, hey, we trust these individuals. So that's another figure that you should do. Look at how much you're going to give away by being exclusive and look at what you could grow with the new company. Really from there, these are the tough decisions of being a business owner. You need to look at some of those numbers and decide your comfortability level. And then from there, I would talk to a good attorney to make sure there's some things that we're not mentioning today that they would be thinking about. But anytime you have an agreement, a written agreement, I would always suggest to talk to an attorney. They're going to cost some money, but they are worth it.
Yeah, I would say it's worth the investment to protect yourself and cover yourself. One thing that just popped into my mind as you were talking, Todd, was the year that this happened was, let's see, I started my business in 2017. So I believe it was 2018 when we were having this discussion. I was one of very few real estate photographers in the market, and with having the software solution that I did in the early version of Spiro before it was Spiro, I was able to scale very quickly and handle a much larger number of jobs than really any of my competitors, and deliver like a standard editing look to what I was doing. And so I had the luxury of knowing the market was pretty wide open for my business to grow. I think today the situation's a little bit different because real estate photography and videography has gotten a lot more popular. I was just reading a Facebook thread today that was talking about that, how it used to be, real estate photography was kind of a small, professional photography was kind of a small niche thing, but there's a lot more competition out there, a lot more photographers getting into the business. And so that slice of the pie is a little bit harder to get that wider slice. So I think, in looking at this question today, to me, it would be even more dangerous to go with an exclusive agreement because you're then really, really limiting yourself.
Yeah, that's a good point, Craig. The industry is growing, which is good for the industry as a whole, but it is another variable that you should understand of your business as to what is possible and what's potential. You can always ask for anything. Don't be afraid to ask. There's sometimes in my career where I've sat at a table with the deciding individuals and I haven't asked, and I've looked back and I've learned the hard way. Before the contract signed or before the decision made is always the time to ask. So that's when you have the most leverage, and that's when you can ask for honestly anything you'd like to, and they can as well, to be fair. And it's always good to have that open discussion. There are some cases where an exclusive clause could be really great. And if I've painted it to be negative today, and Craig's ultimate decision was that he did not take it, I don't want to paint that it could not be a great avenue for you to grow. If you feel great that maybe they're going to guarantee you a small amount and you like the idea of growth, and it allows you to breathe a little bit easier and say, okay, I know where I'm at for this year. Maybe you just quit your day job and maybe you're used to having that normal salary and that paycheck every week. And if that allows you to, if that gives you some of that relief to know that this agreement with this broker and being exclusive is going to do that, then by all means, that would be a good reason to move forward. It'll allow you to create relationships with those agents. It'll allow you will grow. Craig would have seen growth in those companies. There's some exclusive clauses that we didn't take, and we would have grown in those companies. So don't think that you won't grow, and don't think that our situation and Craig's situation, in our case, is that you have to make that decision. We just want to educate you that there are a lot of variables out there that you should be thinking about, and just put them down on paper, a pros and a cons, and then have your math done. Show it to somebody if you're not with math, or go to your accountant, go to your attorney. They'll ask you some good questions. And ultimately, there could be some really good exclusive relationships out there that would just make you flourish. So it's always good to be aware of all those variables.
Right. This is a lot like a couple of other questions that we've tackled on this podcast. You really have to think about and consider what is best for you and your business. Not every situation is the same. So there's not just one answer to this question. Now, yeah, both Todd and I kind of, went one way with it, but that was good for our businesses. So yeah, just reinforcing, think about what you want ultimately for your business, and then go with it. So yeah, I think that's going to pretty well cover this topic. It's a hard question, but at the same time, not a hard question. But hopefully we've given you some things to think about this week.
Yeah. If you have a variable that we haven't discussed, or if you're in this situation, reach out to us. We'd love to have a conversation with you, talk you through some things. We can whiteboard a couple of different situations, and help you ultimately make the best decision for your business that will help you grow and help you flourish.
Right. So if you do have a question, you want to reach out to us, you can email us at either hello@spiro.media, or if you have a question about Spiro in the Spiro software package, you can also reach out to me, Craig@spiro.media. And we would love to partner with you and really help you grow and manage and develop your business. That's our passion, is helping real estate photography and videography companies do their best, manage things, make things easier for you, and ultimately increase your bottom line for you. So again, Craig@spiro.media, hello@spiro.media, or you can stop by our website to find out more about the software at spiro.media. We make it simple. Any final thoughts, Todd?
Not on the subject. I think we covered it well. We have PMRE coming up. So we are this is a great event. This is an industry event that is happening in November, and we are going to be there. We're excited to be there. If you're on the fence, I think this is a great decision. I think it's always great to get out and see what's happening in the industry. There's a whole host of great speakers, and it's great to be in a room full of individuals who think, know, breathe real estate photos and videos. So we're going to be there. I believe are we booth 8, Craig?
Yep. V8. Yep. V8. Right on the corner. If you're looking out at the audience, we'll be on the right side towards the back.
Yeah. So we'd love to see you there. If you come, please feel free to come up to the booth and say hello, and share anything you have with us. We'd love to get to know you and your business.
Exciting note to add on to talking about PMRE. We just confirmed a future podcast interview with Dominic Wilkerson of Dom Does Media, who will be one of the panel speakers at PMRE. So we're super excited to have Dominic coming up. You can check his channel out on YouTube. Just to search Dom Does Media. So we're excited to be working with other individuals and companies in this industry and collaborate and just help us all grow and get better. We'd love to get your feedback on this question or any other question you have. Feel free to leave comments here on this episode, and we'd love to start a conversation. Maybe you have some ideas and things that you've thought about that were factors in a decision about exclusivity. We'd love to hear from you. So enjoy your blessings and take a breath. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for joining us for the Spiro Podcast, Managing Your Real Estate Photography and Videography Business. This is a production of Spiro and Wow Video Tours. You can find out more about Spiro's real estate media business management software at our website, spiro.media.